Yep, it is that time again. We are going to practice our multiplication and our division. So make sure you have a sheet of paper out. This time, in our multiplication section, we're going to practice multiplying by the powers of 10. So, on your sheet of paper, solve all those problems and pause the video. All right, let's see how good you did. Remember, when you're multiplying by the powers of 10 and you have whole numbers, all you got to do is add zeros. So when I have problems like this, I just like to do 37 straight down. And now this tells me how many zeros to add. Times 10 to the first power just means by 10, and that's just 1 0. Times 10 to the second power, or 10 squared, means times 100, and that just means to add 2 zeros. Times 3, or 10 to the third power, or 10 cubed, means times 1,000. So you just add 3 zeros. That's 37,000. And then times 10 to the fourth power means 10,000. So that's 4 zeros. That's 370,000. And there are your answers. Easy. Now, let's mix it up a little bit. Different numbers, different powers. Pause the video. All right, let's see how good you did. 5 times 10 cubed. I put my 5 down. This tells me how many zeros. 1, 2, 3. 5,000. 15 times 10 to the first power. I put down my 15. This tells me how many zeros. 150. 391 times 10 squared. 391, 10 squared, that tells me how many zeros. 1, 2. 39,100. Easy. Let's step it up a notch. Still multiplying by the powers of 10. This time you've got decimals. Now remember, these powers of 10 tell you how many times to move the decimal over to the right. And if there's any blank spaces, add a 0. Don't forget. Pause the video and solve that problem on your sheet of paper. All right, let's see how bad you did. So I have a 1, a 7, and an 8. So 1, 7, 8, 1, 7, 8, 1, 7, 8, 1, 7, 8. Now, this tells me how many places to move my 0. Here, I'm only going to move it one place to the right. So it's going to be between the 7 and the 8. So the answer to that one is 17 and 8 tenths. Here, I'm going to move it over twice. So 1, 2. It's going to be right here by the 8, and I always put a nice 0 right there next to it. Here I'm moving it 3 times. 1, 2, and then 3, so there'll be a 0. There. A placeholder. So the answer is 1,780. And then here I got 2 places. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll have 2 zeros as placeholders. The answer is 17,800. And then, of course, you always have that nice little pattern there when you do it in order. So, let's try it again, but this time, mixing it up. We've got different numbers, different powers. All you have to do is move that decimal. Pause the video. All right. I got a 3 and a 5, so I have a 3 and a 5. This tells me to move it over twice, one, and then another time, so I'll have a 0 here. The answer is 350. Right here, I got a 4, an 8, and a 9. A 4, an 8, and a 9. This tells me to move my decimal over one time. So my decimal ends up being there. My answer is 4 and 89 hundredths. 3, 5, 7. This tells me to move over 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, comma. I always like to put a decimal 0 at the end there. 357,000 is the answer. Easy. I hope you got it. All right, now let's step it up a notch to division. 9,871 divided by 61. That's what it looks like in the division problem. But first, we need to find our facts of 61. Do that now. Pause the video. All right, let's see if you know how to multiply. 61 times 1, 61 times 2, 122 times 3, 183 times 4, 244 times 5, 305 times 6, 366 times 7, 427 times 8, 488 times 9, 549. And the truth shall set you free. All right. Now we got to divide this. We have all our tools. Now, let's work the problem. Pause the video. All right. Let's see how good you did. All right. Can 61 go into 9? No. Can 61 go into 98? Yes. How many times? One time. 1 above the 8. 1 times 61 is 61. Subtract. 8 minus 1 is 7. 9 minus 6 is 3. Bring down the 7. 61 goes into 377. How many times? We got to look at our work here. And the closest we can get is 6. So I put a 6 here. 6 times 61 is 366. Subtract 7 minus 6 is 11. 7 minus 6 is 11. 3 minus 3 is 0. Bring down the 1. 61 goes in 111. How many times? Closest we can get is 1. So 1 times 61 is 61. Subtract 1 minus 1 is 0. You can't subtract 1 minus 6, so you borrow. That becomes a 0. The 1 becomes 11 again. 11 minus 6 is 5. That's my remainder. Your quotient is 161. Remainder 50. Now, if you're thinking that remainder is too big, as long as the remainder is smaller than your divisor, it's okay. If you ever get a remainder that's bigger than your divisor, then you've got the wrong answer. And remember, you can have remainders when you divide whole numbers. Now, when you divide decimals, no remainders, which we're about to do right now. So, we've got 2 and 604 thousandths divided by 8 and 4/10. So, right here, first thing I want you to do is change this division problem to where there is no decimal in your divisor. Okay? And that means the dividend's going to change too. Do that now. Pause the video. All right. Let's see how good you did. Right here, I got to move it over one time. It becomes 84. Right here, got to move it one time. it becomes 26 and 604,000. So now I must find all my facts of 84. Do that now. Pause the video and get it done. All right, let's see how good you did. 84 times 1, 84. Times 2, 168. Times 3, 252. Times 4, 336. Times 5, 420. Times 6, 504. Times 7, 588. Times 8, 672. Times 9, 756. All right. Now I have all my tools that I need to solve this problem right here. So, pause the video, use all your information, and give me the right answer. Pause the video. All right, let's see how good you did. 84, can it go into 2? No. Can it go into 26? No. Can it go into 266 or 26 and 6/10? Yes, it can. How many times? Well, let's see. 3 times. 3 above the second 6 there because we're going into 266. 3 times 84 is 252. I subtract. 6 minus 2 is 4. 6 minus 5 is 1. Bring down the 0. I'm going to go ahead and put my decimal on my answer right there. 84 can go into 140 how many times? 1 time. 1 times 84 is 84. Time to subtract. I can't subtract 0 minus 4. The 4 becomes a 3. The 0 becomes a 10. 10 minus 4 is 6. I can't subtract 3 minus 8. The 1 becomes 0. The 13 becomes, the 3 becomes a 13. And then 13 minus 8 is 5. And then I have to bring down the 4. Now, can 84 go into 564? Yes, it can. How many times? 6 times. 8 times 84 is 504. Subtract. 4 minus 4 is 0. 6 minus 0 is 6. 5 minus 5 is nothing. And then I have a 60 here, which I can't have a 60. So, guess what I must do? Add a 0 and bring it down. And we're only going to do this about twice, probably. Let's see. Can 84 go into 600? How many times? 7 times. 7 times 84 is 588. Time to subtract. Subtract. Or borrow, 5, 10, 9, and then 10. 10 minus 8 is 2. 9 minus 8 is 1. Let's see, I still have a remainder. Add a 0, bring it down. And we're only going to do this one more time because I think this is a forever problem. Let's see. We'll only do this one more time. If it doesn't finish at that time, we know this is a forever problem, and we can't work on this problem forever. Let's see, 84 goes into 120. How many times? Well, 1 time. 84 again. Subtract. That becomes a 1. This becomes a 10. 6. Borrow. Let's see, that'll be a 3. So, yeah, this is a forever problem. So we'll just stop it right there. So if you have problems with that, working on that forever, then that's okay. As long as you got that far, that's good enough. This is a forever problem. That means there is no answer. It'll go on forever and ever and ever through all eternity. Well, anyway, get on your classwork assignment now. This is practice for your test, so make sure you know all these skills. Up!